can. Actually, I'm quite bad at giving just a speech sort of. I always prefer it to have in an interactive mode. So if somebody asks me questions, it's easy for me to just answer that. But so she said this is the mode. So I thought I'll just take you through a couple of initiatives that we had been doing till now.
Yeah, just 2 seconds, ma'am.
Yeah.
There are a few students in this meeting. They have joined. I think they will have lead the interactive session. Few of them from Kerala also. They are very much interested to get to know about you and your activities in a more easy manner. Let us hope this will be a lively session.
So actually, I'll be happy if somebody can, while I'm talking, if they want to know anything further about that particular project, please feel free to kind of, intervene and raise a question. I mean, you don't have to wait till the end, I guess, because the problem that I face most of the time is I'm more used to taking, talking to management students or design students. So I'll be placing the way I position these projects would mostly be in that perspective. So maybe it is something else that you might be interested in. So please feel free to kind of, jump in and shoot the questions anytime.
Just to give the background of our students, we have students ranging from 11th standard till probably the final year of medicine. So that is the range, age range you can look at. So we have students from different courses, pursuing from agriculture to BSc Pure Sciences to design courses to I don't think.
Actually, it would have been nice if, I think instead of this 40 minutes segment, can I just finish it off in maybe like 20 minutes or so and make it into, because since you have medical students also, there are certain things that I do in that field as well. Not in the medical field precisely, but connected to that. Like I stay with my Ammuma. So certain things that I've been doing for her, it is slightly connected to the physiotherapy, things like that. So,
so the way we have designed it is to be in an interactive manner. So you talk for a few minutes so that everybody gets to understand, broadly what you are involved in. And then we also want you to have an understanding about our students. So we have put few students as a student showcase where they will talk about their experience, where they come from, etc. And then, have question and answers throughout.
Sure. Yeah, I forgot to take one of those dolls. Let me just bring the dolls also, okay, before I start, so that they'll get a better idea. One second. Sorry about that. So just let me know whenever I should start. Okay.
Good evening, all. I'm Aishwarya, Program Fellow at V-Charcha. On behalf of the Shibulal family and all of us at Sarojini Damodaran Foundation, I extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you attending the V-Charcha program. We have with us today Lakshmi Menon, social entrepreneur and founder of Pure Living. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. I am honored to welcome Ms. Kumari Shipulal and Ms. Shruti Shipulal and Professor S. Ramanan, the trustees of SDF, who have graciously agreed to participate in this event. Welcome. Next, I would like to welcome Professor S. Ramanan, a trustee and the Vidyathan Kerala State Coordinator for the welcome address and also to share the overview of Shipulal family philanthropy initiatives. Sir, please.
Thank you, Aishwarya. Good evening, all. Good evening, Kumari Shibalal, our Managing Trustee of Sarojini Damodaran Foundation, and other trustees, Mrs. Shruti Shibalal, then Meera Rajivan, our Project Director, then our Chief Guest, Srimati Lakshmi Menon, and dear scholars who are joined in to share their experiences with our scholarship program called Vidyadhan. A warm welcome to all, especially to our chief guest, Mrs. Lakshmi Menon. I just went through the write-up which the SDF provided me, and I was so much impressed by knowing about her activities, especially activities which are very much common to the layman, not anything out of the way, anything stylish. Amumatiri and the Chekuti dolls, everything connects with the common man. So that's a new thing. So I was impressed with it. Maybe with the interactive session, she is coming to share with us. We will know more about her activities, more activities in which she is involved. So welcome, Mrs. Lakshmi Menon, to our V-Charcha program. Okay. Then just a few words about Shibalal Family Philanthropic Initiatives. That's my duty. That's what is assigned to me. So a few words about that. The Shibalal Family Philanthropic Initiatives emerged with the vision of transferring lives through education. To name a few of the projects, there are initiatives like Vidyadhan, V-Charcha, Shiksha Lokam, and so on. The Vidyadhan program is an initiative, the Vidyadhan initiative is a scholarship program for mentoring, for selecting meritorious students from underprivileged communities, starting from their 11th grade till they complete their studies, till their graduation or even post-graduation. We can very well call it as our flagship program, because it started way back in 1999 with 2 students from the school where Shibalal studied. The Vidyadhan program, or the flagship program of Sarojini Damodaran Foundation. The foundation name itself is in memorial of Shibalal's parents, Dr. C.K. Damodaran and Srimati Sarojini Damodaran. Now this Vidyadhan program, this flagship program, started with from Alleppey, it's extended to Kerala. Now it is in functioning in 10 states of India. Over 4,000 students are on the rolls, and more than 1,000 have completed the program after completing their course in 5 or 7 years. Then other programs which we are indulged in is V-Charcha program, which provides scholarship for children of martyrs from the Central Armed Police Forces till their 12th grade, after which deserving students are absorbed by Vidyadhan. And even in this, amidst the COVID pandemic situation, Sarojini Damodaran Foundation distributed more or less 10,000 essential kits to families in Karnataka, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana. So in addition to this scholarship program, there are more programs which Shibalal Family Philanthropic Initiatives are participating or indulged in. The outreach of this with the COVID pandemic essential kit distribution was aimed at extending a helping hand to the needy and the underserved sections of society impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. In Karnataka, the focus groups included migrant laborers, differently abled people, sex workers, tribal villages, and even pregnant women. Vidyadhan also partnered with the different NGOs to identify the beneficiaries and distribute the daily essentials, essential kits across several districts. Then in addition to this, there is the Ankur program and the Samhita Academy, both founded by our managing trustee, Mrs. Kumari Shibalal, way back in 2004. Ankur is a comprehensive residential scholarship program again for children from underprivileged families who are schooled in the Samhita Academy. The students in Samhita Academy are not treated differently, and the aim is to provide every student with the best quality of education available. The foundation has experts who are dedicated to helping children to make better career choices, understand what they want to pursue. Again, along with the Indian Army, SDF has set up an oxygen support center at the remotest village in Assam. Also, we have visited forest community in Kabini area and supported with ration, medical kits, oxygen concentrators, such things. So, to put in a nutshell, passionate about doing a bit for the undeserved communities, the Shibilal Family Philanthropic Initiative's vision is to level the playing field through education. So that's a brief write-up or brief report of Shibilal Family Initiatives, Philanthropic Initiatives. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Now I welcome Vidyadan Program Director Meera Rajivan to give a brief on Vidyadan program and also on V-Charcha. Ma'am, please. Ma'am, you are on mute.
Thank you, Aishwarya, and very good evening to all. V-Charcha is a platform for us to engage on things that matter. So the V in V-Charcha stands for Vidyadan, it stands for virtual, and it stands for we as in we, all of us together. So it helps everybody to get a different perspective of the program from different angles. So it has been a very tough 1.5 years or so now for all of us since COVID happened. However, as that goes, adversity is actually an opportunity in disguise. 2 years back, if somebody had told that we will be having this event with participants from over 11 states, I would not have believed it myself. However, here we are. We also conducted test and interviews for our selection process last year, everything online. You know, normally we get around 18,000 applications every year for our Vidyadan scholarships. But last year we got 21,000 applications. Okay, and our students could take the test from the comfort of their homes, which was not the case earlier. Only very few were shortlisted for test and followed by interview. So this actually created a level playing ground for students who could not travel long distance, etc. And we were also able to conduct a lot of trainings and mentoring programs of our students online. So no, Vidyadan is not just about money. It's about enabling our students to be the best they can be. Towards this, we have been arranging interactions with eminent people from different walks of life. And today we have with us Lakshmi Menon, who has illustrated what compassion and innovation can achieve by building a social enterprise. It's always energizing to listen to the young. So I'm eagerly looking forward to hear from you and hope you will also be able to take away something from the interaction with our students. And today was our quarterly board review of the Vidyadan program. And we had very special guests. 4 students were selected to come and share their experience of being part of Vidyadan. And it was really heartwarming to see first generation learners from Telangana, from Maharashtra, from other states coming and sharing, and how getting a job and how getting this Vidyadan scholarship turned their lives around. Some of them were planning to drop out of school and were considering alternate jobs like, you know, getting into carpentry or, farm work, etc. And their parents were so appreciative of the fact that they got this timely support and guidance for their children through the Vidyadan program. And they have now become earning members, not just in terms of providing money. Our students are exemplary when it comes to the motto of sharing with others, helping others, and have such a wonderful value system, which we are very, very proud of that fact as well. So we look forward to hearing from you, Lakshmi. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, I would like to invite Shruti Shibulal, CEO of Tamra Leisure Experience Private Limited, an award-winning hospitality brand based out of Bangalore. She completed her graduation in BSc Chemistry from Howard College and later pursued MBA from Columbia Business School. She is passionate about her goals towards responsible and sustainable business practice. Now I welcome ma'am to address the gathering and to introduce our external speaker. Shruti ma'am, please.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. It is with great pleasure that I am able to introduce Lakshmi Menon today. I have not seen a bio so diverse and so interesting in quite some time. Lakshmi is a very, very interesting person. I'm very much looking forward to hearing her speak. A designer by profession, Lakshmi runs the organization Pure Living in Cochin. It is dedicated to finding sustainable livelihood solutions and also in propagating awareness in society about the importance of green living. Engaging and thus empowering the underprivileged is in the DNA of the organization. The ideas are very simple and workable with great impact. Lakshmi conceptualized Ammumatiri and Wixtum, which is a project designed to provide livelihood for the underprivileged elderly through crowdsourcing. Women living in old age homes and orphanages across the state make wicks commonly used for lighting lamps, ensuring them a livelihood and purposeful engagement with dignity. She's also known for Pen with Love. These are plantable pens made of paper with seeds that grow into a tree once disposed. And this initiative gives employment to more than 30 rural women who have the flexibility to make the pens from home as well. And of course, units have the capacity to produce over 3,000 pens a day. Another movement that she started was Orange Alert. This was inspired when she saw the conditions of the roads, which led to many accidents. The Orange Alert warning system for road safety involves community volunteers painting orange triangles 50 feet away on either side of dangerous spots, including bumps and potholes, thus alerting drivers to slow down. And this brought awareness amongst the entire society about the impact. Of course, Lakshmi is also the owner of Grandmark, a trademark to identify products made by senior citizens, and the co-creator of Chekuti, the mascot of Resilient Kerala. I'm sure many of you have seen this. I think Lakshmi will be sharing one of these with us soon, showing us one of these with us soon as well. Chekuti has become very famous. It emerged as a demonstration of Kerala's resilience, and it's made from the soiled scraps of cloth that were damaged thoroughly during the 2018 floods. And of course, these dolls have gone on to win global accolades and recognition from all over. One of the initiatives that Lakshmi has worked on during COVID is through an initiative called Shaya. This is an initiative of making bedrolls from the scraps of personal protective equipment, or PPE, that would have otherwise been thrown away as garbage. And these bedrolls are now being used in first-line treatment centers as beds, as the mats on which patients are able to lie. So it gives me great pleasure to be able to introduce Lakshmi today. It is a great honor to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining us and inspiring us with everything that we are to hear from you. Thanks so much.
Is it my turn now, Shruti?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
go ahead.
Thank you.
Shruti,
I don't know whether you remember, we had connected once through email. we were supposed to meet in Bangalore. Hopefully it will, happen soon.
Sometime soon. Yes. Sounds like there's a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah, looks like it. So, okay, so I'm actually a designer by profession, a fashion interior jewelry designer, and absolutely accidental entrepreneur. I think I just was trying to find solutions to some of the pressing demands, needs in the society, and I could actually, fortunately, come up with some innovative solutions, and that could connect with a wider audience. And I think so that gave me a more confidence to take it further and to come up with more and more such ideas. And till the media started featuring me in the entrepreneurial columns, I never realized I had become one. So that is how I became the social entrepreneur. I came into that space. In our organization, Pure Living, what we do is we try to have the eco impact, the most prominent one that runs in the DNA of our organization. So we try to have to bring wealth out of waste, and the way we look at waste, the perspective is different. I think that is how what has literally helped me to come up with a certain unique ideas. So I'll just walk you through a couple of initiatives that we have done. So the first one to start with is this one, Chumma Dirikada Chumma Tirichada Amuma Tiri. This is a simple yarn, cotton yarn, which we give to the grandmas in old age homes. It all started when I saw my own grandma, who was 90 years old. She was quite a naughty person, and it was quite difficult to find an activity for her to keep her in one place. So one day I saw her making this yarn. She was chanting while she was doing it, and she was, very much, I could see that she was enjoying that process. So I thought, why don't I, in order to make her sit for some more time, I said, why don't you make a little bit more so that I can hand it over to my uncle and auntie, saying that, these are all handmade, hand rolled by our Amuma and things like that. And she immediately bought in that idea. And since she started making more, I had to come up with a plan. So I thought, why don't I, being a product designer as well, I thought, why don't I package it in a way and give a brand name to it and things like that. And that is how the Amumatiri brand was born. So just for fun, I added a tagline saying that, Chumma Dirikada, Chumma Tirichada, Amumatiri. So then when people started, when we had guests over, I'll ask Amuma to give it as a gift. And when we visited houses, she would give it as a gift. And people appreciated it so much that one day she asked me, like, how is the demand? Should I be making more? So that is when I understood that, the kind of pride that she gets in and how much she's enjoying the whole process. So I thought, why don't I try it in other grandmas also who is in the same physical condition? Because this just doesn't take up any of, it's not, I don't need any, you don't have to impart any skill training or in a gadget. All you need is one set of, sharp scissors. And when they cut it into size, and this is something that they've been doing for years together, right? And this is something that is going to the temple as to light up the idols, right? So that has another value to it. And when they do this, one of the geriatric surgeons, he told me that, when they do this, it has an acupressure effect. So the numbness of the fingers is reduced since it increases the blood flow. And this gives them something to do during their idle time. And this really changed the entire ambience in the old age home when once this idea was, this was started. And from the conversations, I realized that they don't even have a penny to spare. Even if they have to buy their favorite vada or a biscuit, they don't have a penny to spare. So I thought, why don't we make it into an enterprise sort of? So every week that they roll, they get 10 paise. And there are amumas grannies who make around 200 to 300 rupees a day. And you know that in a country like India, where 80% of the population lights up a lamp, there is no dearth of demand for this. So one day like a Diwali, and I think, you'll have to import grandmas from China, to make more. So that is the kind of demand this product has. And it gives them so much of dignity at the sunset of their lives, because they are earning it. There isn't an iota of charity in it. They are literally earning every single pie. So I think that is what caught the attention of BBC, and actually Amitabh Bachchan was one of the hosts who kind of featured this in the Change Makers in the Star Plus show. So that really spread the news far and wide. So I was getting calls from Nagpur saying that the cotton farmers in Nagpur had been doing this. but they use the other cotton bulb that they have. I think they make it into a different model. So I mean, so that is how the Ammumattiri thing has caught on, and still one of my favorite, because I feel that, you know, every this is not just a bunch of fiber. These are all prayer. These are like prayer rolls, you know, the kind of blessing, the love and affection that have ingrained into every single yarn. I think if you really feel that lighting lamp is something divine, this is a yarn to be used. This is a theory, the wig that has to be used. Because I always say that ഇതില് മനം തെളിയാത്ത ഒരു ദേവനും ഉണ്ടാവില്ല. So these are not just thread, these are പ്രാർത്ഥന ചുരുളുകളാണ്. അപ്പോൾ that is the story of Ammumattiri, and then we moved on to the next project. The
Just
pen.
a minute, Lakshmi.
Sorry. Yeah.
You mentioned you wanted to have questions in between. So
Okay,
we have
please.
Hanadi Talsir. He wanted to know, what did you feel when you interacted with Amitabh Bachchan?
Oh, that
How
was.
did you feel? Since you mentioned Amitabh Bachchan, there are a bunch of questions that have come up in the chat box, but I just thought that since you mentioned Amitabh Bachchan, we can take it up.
Yeah, I think, you know, I don't even remember what that moment was like. I said my soul just departed, and I don't know what happened after that, because he came to me and he said, Lakshmi, I was reading about you and I was just watching a movie, I mean the short film that they made. So I'm so happy, glad that, you know, for doing something like this, because there aren't much activities that the elderly can be engaged in because of the bad motor eye coordination and things like that, right? So I couldn't believe it is this person who is talking to me. Then I don't remember what else happened over there. And I'm not very good in speaking in Hindi, but he was helping me with so many words. Wherever I was kind of, you know, jumbling, he would give me the right word and things like that. He made me so comfortable. And then I handed over him a few gifts, like, you know, I had given a pen with his picture and all that. And so he said, you know, the world should know about this product also. Then he asked the camera to be back on. He has lights to be back on, and he wanted to film this also, but unfortunately they didn't put it in that particular episode. So I could see that the kind of, you know, the great personality that he has, you know, the kind of encouragement that he gives to youngsters, or, you know, whoever comes with new ideas. So amazing personality. No wonder why he is, you know, still a hero of so many hearts. I mean, for so many years. So I mean, I still get my, you know, kind of goosebumps and shivers when I talk about that incident. I hope I answered that question, right? So moving on to the next. So this is the pen that we're talking about. So this is a, I mean, waste paper that comes from office stationery, or your answer sheets from schools, or it could be magazine paper. We don't use newspaper because the newsprint has lead in it and it kind of smudges. So we never use newspaper. And so at the end, at the tip, we have put in a seed. So that you anyway you have the habit of throwing away pens, right, once used. So we thought that if it is, since it's paper, when you throw it away, if it touches the soil, the paper will naturally get disintegrated and the seed will be in contact with the soil, and then it is pressed for the nature to, you know, nurture. If it's in Kerala, I think all you need to do is just get the contact with the soil, and the magic will happen and it will sprout. So what we are putting here is a seed of Agastya tree. It's also called butterfly tree. The botanical name is Sesbania grandiflora. And this used to be a tree, I mean, a plant. It's more or less like a muringedable, like the, what is that, the drumstick tree sort of, you know. It was pretty much seen in every yard during early days, I guess. And the leaves and the flowers is so good to prevent thyroid. I think that is why I think the elder generation, they never had to have much of a thyroid issue, but nowadays it's not to be seen anywhere. So I feel that this is my kind of a social responsibility also, to bring back this medicinal plant to every yard if possible. So what we do say about this is that, you know, this is how we pack it. So this is something that we packed for Mahindra. In this we have shown like what is the uniqueness of this pen. And in this side we have given why do we need trees? You know, what is the value of a tree? So when you normally ask about the value of tree, people normally say it as the value, the price of the timber. But when you really look at a tree, you have to look at the amount of oxygen that it produces. Imagine if you had to pay for everything that the tree is giving out for free. the oxygen that it produces, the way it is preventing soil erosion, the way it is making the soil fertile, the amount of microorganisms or the plants and the squirrels or whatever is living on it. If you put a value to all these, every tree pretty much values around 33 lakhs of rupees. And that is what we are giving it you for, in this tiny little pen. And this is a mini oxygen cylinder as well. So this is not a pen. This is a combination of women empowerment, waste management, giving back to the nature and things like that. And it also writes. So it's more like it's not more like a solution couple of problems that we're seeing around. And one of the reasons why I had to come up with this pen is the fact that the simple realization that man doesn't need, nature doesn't need people. It is the people who need nature. So how we treat nature, it will be directly proportional to how it's going to react back. So it's the people who needs fresh air, fresh water, and things like that, right? So it's completely depend on how you treat nature, and that pretty much decides your future, how healthy your future is going to be. So that was the reason for coming up with something like this. And then any questions for that, Meera, or should I move to the next? And
there are a bunch of questions.
Okay.
Yeah, a bunch of questions on the eco-friendliness. Why did you get involved? And so many questions on that. So I don't know whether you would like to take it now or you want to just talk.
I just answered one saying that, the simple realization that nature doesn't need people. It is the people who need nature. So behave responsibly. Every single act that you do actually decides your future. And another thing is that I always say, man has traveled through Ice Age, Stone Age, Metal Age to finally reach garbage. So we are in that era now. We are in the garbage age. So if we don't take a U-turn now, really what awaits us is damage. So realize that and try to kind of, change every habit that is going to affect our future, like, especially in the eco space. That's a huge responsibility for the future generations also. We owe them big, right? So we have to kind of, we have brought them into this world. So better conserve something for them to, have a healthier life. So it's purely in our hands, because we are the ones who is actually in charge of, the nature now. So
a couple of questions from Aisha B on the sustainable development. So we talk about it in theory, but practically, how do you make it happen, and how can the students contribute to such a movement?
So I think maybe I'll talk about a couple of initiatives, and wherever they feel connected, they can always pitch in. And the thing is that every idea that we have been doing, it's all out there. It's all open source. Anybody can replicate it and copy it, improvise it, and make it their own. I don't own any of these. For the pens alone, I have taken a patent, because I don't want anybody else to take the patent and then stop somebody from making it. I want everybody to kind of, replicate it. So just to make people make more, I've taken that patent so that I can, give them the permission. So maybe I move on to the next. This is a Chekuti dolls that they had read on my bio. And this is actually happened when the Kerala was hit with the flood, one of the most disastrous natural explosion that we had ever seen in Kerala, and we didn't know how to face it. So, but we braved and we kind of, approached it so well. Every Malayali was on a give mode, and that is when we really came to know about our inner strength and things like that, and the resilience and things like that. So one of my friend, when the water receded after like 8 days, one of my friend visited Chendamangalam, that is a weaver's village near Cochin. He just wanted to know what is the situation. And Chendamangalam is a village where the most premium or most exquisite handloom fabric is being woven in Kerala. So during the visit, he found that if whatever was tagged in the ground floor is completely damaged, and especially being the Onam season, the stock was at its peak, maximum stock. And you can imagine the Kerala fabric, the white, the ikru color fabric, and the dirt passing through it, right? So they had lost of around 21 lakhs worth of fabric in one society alone, one weaver society alone. And the government came in, they said they tried to chlorinate it, wash it, but it was all in vain. You can imagine that a white fabric like this, if you have all this filth and everything, passing through it, it was absolutely cannot be salvaged. So the only option that they were given was to burn down the entire fabric. At least they can clean up that space and use that space again, you know. So that is when this guy saw this, and he contacted me, because I always am a lover of waste, sort of. I always say there is nothing called waste. It is only the way you look at it. And I always feel that, you know, just because our human intellect doesn't have the capacity to come up with an utility for something, we shamelessly regard it as waste. I always feel the only waste in this planet is humans, you know, because we eat of everything. We kind of exploit everything, sort of. So I thought, you know, it's my responsibility, especially being a fashion designer. I've worked with handloom. I know how pathetic their life is now, and how that whole industry itself is dwindling. I thought, you know, if this chance is not taken up, they are like doomed forever, sort of. So it really was a moral imperative from my side to kind of save those clothes somehow. So when I took a couple of saris from them, I myself and my mom washed it, chlorinated it, but I could see that it still had all the stains and scars in it. I didn't know. I had a few plans to make certain items with it, but I knew it is not going to last. It's not possible. But along with that, what I saw was that, you know, when I looked at that fabric, I could see a reflection of a Malayali during those days, because wherever you travel, you could see there's brown spots and patches everywhere, and in every heart there was a scar. That was exactly what that cloth also represented. So I thought, you know, Malayali would understand if I use this and make it into something else. So I made that is how I made this tiny little, you know, Keralite itself, Malayali itself, using that product. So when I tried to kind of, you know, figure out how to make it, I could see that maybe I could get like 1 or 2 clean patches from that one entire sari. So that is not going to help, because we have to raise revenue for them. They have to start putting everything back together. They have to have new looms, new buildings, everything. So raising the money was the prime objective there. So what I thought was, okay, I cannot spare any of the pieces that is, you know, being collected there. I thought, why don't we give it? Why don't we be transparent and position it such a way that, you know, let it become a brand, sort of a mascot, sort of. So what I did was, when we made this as a tagline, we explained that Chekuti has stains, Chekuti has scars, yet Chekuti is each of us who survived the flood. So we transparently, we bluntly, you know, we directly put it that it comes with the stains and scars, but that is what each of us are. So that made it so easy for us to actually sell it, because people started looking for the ones with the stains and scars, because they were sure that that are the authentic Chekutis. And even if there is a small, maybe a clean one, they kind of suspect, are you sure this is the original fabric from Chenamangalam? So people started looking for the damaged ones. That gives so much of boost to the entire marketing and the sales. So from one sari, which normally sells at around 1,300 to 1,500 or 2,000, once we converted it into Chekuti, these stained ones, from one sari we could make around $360. Each one priced at ₹25, made 9,000 rupees out of each damaged sari. So from 200 saris we made 18 lakhs rupees. And in 3 months' time, we could raise 36 lakhs and handed it over to the Weavers Society. So after that, we had been working with the Fourth Society, and around in 9 countries, 50,000 volunteers were working on it. So finally, in the reconstruction conference in UN, World Bank was giving this as a souvenirs to the participants from other countries. So this was done in a crowdsourced, crowdfunding manner. The beauty of this was, you know, people during those days, everybody was trying to, you know, support each other, but there were a segment of people who were not physically fit or financially fit, or they didn't have the somehow, you know, the time to do that. This platform offered them all these opportunities. So a grandma who was like 90 years old, somebody sent her a picture. She was making prints with lady's finger, vegetable printing on Chekuti skirt. And there were little ones who was making this. So they felt that if they have made one Chekuti, they have also put at least one brick in the rebuilding Kerala process. So everybody was able to contribute in their own limited ways through this platform called Chekuti. So that is what I think that really created the whole buzz and made it into a movement, sort of. So every Malayali thinks, you know, if they are a Mallu, they have to have a Chekuti at home, because it reminded of their unity, the way we fought back, how we researched after such a tragedy and things like that. So that is a story of Chekuti. If I can take any questions, or maybe answer it later also.
There was some question from Sri Lakshmi and some others on how you have leveraged. Did you use technology while marketing or selling these ideas? How have you leveraged technology?
Yeah, actually, whatever idea comes to me, I'll first thing to do is make a Facebook post. So we only had like a few hours to come up with this. I literally hit the ground running, because they never believe that when we said that please don't burn it, we are gonna come up with something good, which will actually help you make money out of it. They said, they literally thought we are crazy, when we suggested this. But from day one, I was flying out to San Francisco on the third day. So I didn't have a proper area to actually launch this idea or get a room to kind of, have an inauguration or something. So I just made a post in Facebook saying that I will be under one of the trees in Panambali Nagar in Kochi. And the media caught, I said, I'll be starting something called Chekuti. A team of us will be there. So let's see over there. And maybe like 3 or 4 people turned up, but all the media channels, around 13 channels were there, because they knew that, I think Mumatiri and the Pen were already kind of a good stories already. And they completely understood the crux of it. They understood that after all this give, this was one of the first enterprise model that emerged out of, that fled ruins. So they kind of gave us so much of, publicity, and they kind of spread it far and wide. So technology, of course, social media had played an immense role. And I think it was through social media, everything, it really spread like wildfire. So technology, yes, for sure.
Okay, go ahead.
Should I move on to the next project, or?
Sure.
I think it is Shaya. Actually, it is at bedroll. Maybe I should, should I grab a piece so that it is easy? I mean, you would understand it more. One second. So, okay, so I'm just looking at some scrap. So this is a material. This is a PPE material. It comes in all sizes and shapes. Actually, what we do is, being a fashion designer, I knew the amount of cutting waste, the tailoring scrap that is being generated at the source itself. When they make the masks and the PPE gowns, because when you cut the neck, so all these portions, that is scrap. That piece over there that comes out. So normally, what they do is they burn the entire fabric. The tailoring institutes and places like, tailoring shops, because so in order to provide space to put in their next day's scrap. But since this has plastic content in it, they couldn't actually burn it like a regular fabric. And this was getting piled up in their warehouses and stores and all the place. They didn't know actually what to do with it. So that is how when we came up with this project Shaya, it happened actually when I was traveling through Bangalore last February. There are so many homeless people living under the bridge and things like that. One of the side just hit me really hard. I could see 2 tiny kids just lying on the floor. They were sleeping without a clothes to wear on, and just on the barren land. And I just couldn't, take it. And I was thinking, they don't even have a cloth on their body. And being a fashion designer, I know the amount of waste that is being that is being wasted in this fashion world every day. So on one side, I'm seeing like, so much of surplus of the raw material, the fabric. And on the other side, I'm seeing absolute depravity of the same resources. So I thought, since I know both the sides, why don't I act as a bridge? That is how the idea of, using that cut pieces and making it into a mattress for the homeless came into being. So this started last March. And soon after that, we were hit with the lockdown and things like that. And I couldn't actually take it further. But so I had to shelve the idea. And when I made that prototype, I wanted to just use the scrap that came from the tailoring waste. I didn't want to make the regular, the standard mattress sort of, where you have that outer covering and then you stuff it with something else, because that outer covering has to be bought new. So that would kill the purpose of this. So I just wanted to use just the waste or the scrap alone to make that. So for that, I thought, why don't we just make it, braid it, some are like long pieces, some are like very tiny, that can be integrated while you braid it. Like when you used to put that extensions for, dance and things like that, how you used to kind of add those tiny little pieces to your hair and things like that. So I use the same technique. So we made ropes like this. And for a mattress of 6 feet by 2.5 feet, that's the standard size, we would make around 37 feet. And then just by putting it on the table, see, just zigzag, and by tying it together, this becomes a mattress. So in this process, you don't need a needle, you don't need a thread, you don't even need a machine. If you know how to braid your hair, you can make a shaya. So that is how simple it is. And every day, daily one person can make one shaya. And as per the Manrega wages, she could earn 300 rupees a day. So that is the kind of, the business model of this. And we used up around, so when the COVID cases started spiking in Kerala in last July, the government ordered every panchayat to come up with first line treatment centers for the COVID care patients. So we were looking at around a demand of 50,000 beds, mattresses, pillows and things, because we have around 970 panchayats or something in Kerala alone. So there was a demand of 50,000 mattress, and Kerala being a consumer state, as you all know, there we didn't have enough of availability of mattresses, and with the borders being closed, the logistically also it was difficult for us to bring in. So I thought, this is the best time for me to reintroduce this Shaya project. That is how I started. Like again, I went to the fashion houses in search of the fabric, but they said, the business is so dull, so they have all, stopped making any more of the salwars or the fabric, the costumes. Yet instead they kind of all switched over to making the PP gowns and the masks. So that and that only scrap available is of this material. So I kind of collected that and brought it home, and I found that this was so premium to the fabric, because the edges doesn't fray, and these are untouched, because they just lay hundreds of layers, and with the machine they cut. These are things that they just fall on the sides. People don't even touch those pieces. So this is such new, fresh, crisp pieces that you can get, and it doesn't accumulate dust also. So when I brought it home, mom is, who helps me with everything, and she didn't sneeze. So that was a testing thing for me. Always when I bring fabric, she would have, she would have created a havoc, and she would have to have asthma inhaler and things like that. But she was very comfortable with this, so that that test was passed, that this is kind of, a good product to be worked on. And that is how the Shaya product was born. And I think in 3 months, we made around 1,000 of these pieces, and we used up 9,000 kilos of those scrap. And now it was featured in World Economic Forum in Davos agenda. And we have given training to around 7 to 8 countries. And one of the units in Delhi, I give online training through Zoom and things like that. And a women shelter home in Delhi, we have taught them, so they are making it, and I think the wages is given by some CSR, and they are donating this Shaya to the homeless in Delhi. So those are some of the models that we are working on. And the demo video is on shaya.in, so anybody can copy it, and they can replicate it, and they can improvise it, whatever you want. You're free to do that, because this has a global role to play, because in every country, like every place, you have this scrap. Or if you don't find this, you still can use your old curtain or sari or anything. Even if your undergarments, if it's not properly cleaned, you can be made into a braid like this, and you can use it. And homelessness is everywhere, employment is being lost everywhere. So this is a model that anybody else can copy. As long as humans are alive, there will be available clothes, and there will be a demand for mattress to sleep on, right? Because a good night's sleep is anybody's birthright. So that is why I think Shaya is here to stay. So
there is a question from Prithvi Dev from Karnataka, who seems to be a hardcore fan of yours, and he is asking, it might turn this, if we can use the used clothes for making Shaya, we can get bulk of them from residential schools like JNVs.
Yes. That's what I was saying. You don't have to. I started with the fabric. In between, I got, introduced to this new fabric. And post-COVID, this won't be even available. So you can always use your old fabric. That this would be the one of the most noble ways to upcycle your old clothing. You don't have to feel guilty for tearing your shirt or jeans or curtain or saree or anything, because this is going to be somebody's mattress for a good night's sleep, right? So without guilt, you can upcycle it. And the procedure is given, the demo video is given in my site shaya.in. You can always watch it. Anybody who is a little bit crafty can understand the process so easily. It's just like braiding your hair. So that can be very well easily done. Actually, Anand Mahindra tweeted about it, saying that, like you invent spaceships and things like that. These are the kind of innovations that has to happen alongside. And if she's interested, I can come in as an investor and things like that. So that was a huge kind of, something that I always dreamed of.
Absolutely. So I think it's time to take a question that is not specific to an initiative, but this is from Megha Felix. Mostly, she says that we are mainly from traditional and orthodox society. How was it for you as a woman to introduce such a new initiatives? And did people openly accept these ideas, or did you have to struggle? And your advice on how the new generation can overcome some of these things?
Did you see gender in any of my projects? There is no need for adding gender in anything, because an entrepreneur, I think the basic qualities one need is focus, perseverance, hard work, sleeplessness, and things like that. And none of this has gender in it, right? So I don't bring gender in anything that I do, not in my thought process, not in my actions. I think whatever I'd been doing, these were solutions to problems. Many had been wishing to lead a green life, but they didn't know how. That is when we presented the pen to them. So everybody wanted to get rid of the plastic pen, but they didn't know what next. What can replace it. So when we provided this paper pen, it came as a solution. It was not a product for any of them. When we came up with the Amumatiri, everybody would crave to have a good time, a time with grandmas, whoever, many of them have lost them. But anything that can bring in a positive, a good life for a grandma, anybody would love to do that, right? So that is what we offered through the Amumatiri. So whatever we did, it was complete. It was picking the right chord with the people. It could relate to people very well. That is what has brought in that success, or the popularity to whatever that we had been doing. So gender, completely take gender out of whatever I do. So don't try to have that as an excuse or a restriction or a limitation or escape. So gender, it's not going to have any value to your argument. So whatever you try to do, just go and do it. Be aware of what is happening around. Try to bring in a solution to that, and it's going to be a sure success.
Okay, I think one more. I don't know how we are doing on time, Aishwarya. Do we have time for some more questions?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
So I think there is a question that I see from Arpida and also from Revana Siddha. I mean, what are some of the risks? Being an entrepreneur is not an easy job. So there may be, like you talked about Shaya initially, you had decided for something because of COVID, it came to a halt. So how do you handle that, manage the risks? And what are some of the challenges that you have faced?
Actually, in whatever we do, it has its own risks and challenges. But fortunately, I think, when I started this Amumatiri, I'll narrate a story, like an example. When I started Amumatiri, I took it to a couple of temples in my neighborhood. Everybody rejected. The reason, because they were all getting commissions from the mass producers of this wig that comes from other states, which is from power loom, machine cut. So they were all getting the commissions for supplying this, and I had no plans to do that. So they came up with all lame excuses to not buy this Amumatiri from me. So what I did next was, and I knew that I had so much of confidence in this product, because this.
Sorry, Lakshmi, your voice has become lower. I'm not able to hear you.
Is it better now? I've not moved actually. Is it any better now?
Yes. Thank you.
Some glitch, I guess. Yeah. So I felt that, so when all the 10 temples rejected, I knew that I mean, I must have taken to the wrong people because I was so confident about this project. Just imagine something that we regularly use, made by the sweetest grandmas, cannot be, marketed. So I thought, no, I'm not going to quit. I have to take it to another, try some other different avenues. So what I did was I wanted to have a voice for this Amuma. So I took it to Mr. Mohanlal. I didn't know him, but through many contacts, I finally managed to get him. And the moment I spoke about this, he said, so I just wanted a voiceover from him. He said, he was all willing, and he himself arranged for the recording. And in a week's time, we had the voiceover of Momatiri in his voice. And so that really helped us to, take it to more wider audience. And also then another thing is, a way we approached was, I took this to Mr. Ravi DC of DC Books, and he's a family friend. So the moment he saw this, he said, "This is amazing. Can you do me a favor? Can you get me 10,000 packets of this? They are coming up with the Ramayana books the next week. I mean, next month. So they're going to sell 10,000 of this Ramayana. And with every book, they packed a pack of Amumatiri, saying that for the Ramayana season, we are providing the wicks also to light up the lamps while you're chanting the Ramayana." So, and that moment he ordered 3 lakhs wicks. So that again took it to kind of, such a wider audience. And just imagine a theory with a book. This is so kind of, you never relate these two, right? But that was an innovative thinking that he could see, because he just wanted to support the cause. So, I mean, when you decide on something, then all these solutions come along, right? So that is how it reached the masses, and that is how it reached BBC. That is how it reached, Amitabh Bachchan. So what I did after all that, I went to these temples. I went and thanked them for rejecting it. Because in case if they had taken it, Amumatiri would have limited to these 10 temples. I never would have tried all these other avenues. I never would have, kind of had a creative thinking to take it to another places like this. So this was a huge learning experience for me. So from that day, I learned, realized that, whenever there is a risk or a challenge, it is actually your own inadequacy, your own defects that is actually manifesting as your challenge. It's not the moment you kind of conquer that, it doesn't appear as a challenge anymore. It is just a random normal thing. So, for example, if you feel that, if I don't know driving, traveling somewhere, taking my mom, my grandma would have been a big hassle, sort of, a challenge, sort of. So, but the moment I learned driving, it is just a very regular, normal thing, right? So, upskill yourself, upgrade yourself, find what is the blind corner that you're seeing. And I tell you, the moment you kind of tackle that, there is an amazing opportunity, amazing world that is right around it. So work your way around it. Get excited when you have a challenge, because that is a point where you know that you are inadequate. You have to do something. Maybe you have to take to another avenue, or upskill yourself, upgrade yourself. So the moment I'm hit with a risk or challenge, I'm kind of, okay, the moment that this is the moment I know this project is gonna take off like anything, because I'll come up with much more productive or creative thinking, innovative ideas, and I'll change the entire, the modality of it. And I know it's gonna be a success, because I don't invest time on something if I'm not absolutely convinced about that idea. So once I'm convinced, I won't let it fail. I won't quit. That is for sure. Because like I always used to think that, somebody is asking about failure. I said, no, I always feel there is nothing called failure. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn, but you never fail. So have that in your mind from the beginning itself. So once you kind of overcome that obstacle, it would just be a tiny bump or a gutter along the way. So never quit. Get excited when you have risks or challenges. I think that's what my experience is.
Thank you, Lakshmi, for that wonderful session, and sharing that final thing. No, there is no failing, only learning. That's a wonderful thing. So one last question: so how can one meet you personally, through mail or any social media platforms? Is it possible?
Yeah. And if anybody is in Clubhouse, I'm 24 hours there. My mom has already chucked me out of the house, and I'm staying in Clubhouse these days. That's an amazing platform. So if nobody has tried it out, please be there. There is such an amazing place. There have been a lot of negativities about it as well, but it's like, I mean, it's about the kind of topics that you choose, the kind of people that you follow, that makes a whole difference. You can always, I think my website is thepureliving.in. The number and my email ID is right there. Thepureliving.in. Mira, can you please type it in so that, the pure link. There is no gap between the and pure. So it's a single word. And I'm in Facebook, Insta, Twitter, everywhere. But most active in Clubhouse these days, because you get to interact with so many great personalities. Like you'll be sitting next to Sam Petroda and Shashi Tharoor will be on your left, and Sangeet Shivan, the cameraman, would be speaking to you, sort of, you get to kind of interact with them directly. So there's an amazing platform for, learning a new things, sharing your ideas. So
I think let's all give her a big ovation. She should hear it in Kochi.
I hope to meet you.
Please,
soon.
all of you, please unmute and show your appreciation.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yeah.
We have students in this from 11 states, and many of them are, because of the number of participation limit in Zoom, we are live casting it in YouTube, so they are attending through that as well. So last talk we had around 600 students attending.
Okay, great. You should have a Clubhouse platform too. 8,000 people can participate in it.
I was just thinking about it. Yeah, thanks for igniting that thought.
Yeah, Lakshmi Menon, actually, yours was a kind of motivation talk to all these students. No, they got to learn a lot of things from you, especially the last sentence that there is no failure, either win or learn. No failure. Very good, very good. So, a good experience to all the scholars who are joined it.
Thank you. Let me also introduce two tiny little dolls that have come from Kerala. That's a Kathakali and a Kathakili. Okay. This is actually part of Karuna dolls, which is something that we created from for every state. We have a doll that is representing every state, part of our program called Creative Dignity, where many of us are volunteering, designers, industrialists, and people like that, mainly to revive the artisans and art in India. So when we started collaborating, we found that there is no country like this where we can have such a versatile, diverse craft and architecture and whatnot, right? So we have to actually take it to the outer world, we have to publicize it more. So in order to do that, we came up with these dolls to narrate the stories of each state's rich heritage and things like that. So I was asked to make the dolls from Kerala. So this is a finger puppet of Kathakali and Kathakili. Why we made is because through Kathakali, it's an iconic image, right? So we know that it kind of narrates the story, the music, the storytelling, the costume designing, the epics that it narrates, the wooden the wooden sculpture, the costume designing, the jewelry designing, the face painting, and so many things connected to humans are being represented by the Kathakali, and the Kathakali represents the environment, the flora, and fauna of Kerala. So through these two guys, we are pretty much comprehensively packing everything that is related to Kerala. So that is how these two guys came to be.
Thank you, Lakshmi. Aishwarya?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your insightful words, actually. Now, at Vidyadan, we believe that our true ambassadors are our children. Nothing gives us greater pleasure than hearing and sharing in the stories of our young achievers. Many of us whom have overcome great odds simply to afford the opportunity of being able to attend college. Now we'll move on to the student showcase. First, I would like to welcome Sri Lakshmi Sri Lakshmi is from Kerala. Sri Lakshmi, could you please unmute yourself and also switch on your video?
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes. Sri Lakshmi, could you please introduce yourself and also share how Vidyadhan helped you in your journey?
Sure, ma'am. If you're reluctant to learn, no one can help you. But if you are determined to learn, then no one can stop you. A warm good evening to our chief guest, Ms. Lakshmi Menon, ma'am, the managing trustee of ST Foundation, Kumari Shubhalal, ma'am, Shruti Shubhalal, ma'am, and trustee of ST Foundation, Professor S. Ramanand, sir, the project director, Meera Rajivan, ma'am, and my dear fellow Vidyadhan members. I'm honored to be a part of this V-Charcha, and I feel proud to introduce myself as a member of the Vidyadhan family. My name is G. Sri Lakshmi. I'm currently a Vidyadhan +2 scholar. I hail from a small town in the God's own country, Kerala, called Alappuzha, the Venice of the East. I'm a single parent child living with a brave, sacred woman who raised me with much love and care, and with my brother who is working as a clerk in a cooperative society. I'm honored to share my experience in Vidyadhan, a philanthropic initiative of Shubhalal family which transforms life through education. And I'm expressing my gratitude to each and everyone who worked behind this. The world which Vidyadhan has provided to me to maximize my potential is entirely different from the world that I have been. And the beginning of my high school days, I was good at nothing, even in my studies. And I was not a student who took the courage to participate in extracurricular activities. But this started to change when I came to STV school. The trustee of ST Foundation, Professor S. Ramanand sir, was the manager of STV school, and he took me under his wings and introduced me into certain tasks in which most of the time, rather than saying, you have to do like this, what he said is you have to complete this. So he allowed me to explore myself and learn new things from my own mistakes. And working on Vidyadhan programs is something which I love the most nowadays. And in our Vidyadhan WhatsApp group, any of our mentors will post any creative content or achievements of our seniors or any socially relevant content which forces us to think about it. At first, I'm afraid to comment, but gradually I started to appreciate and comment such contents. And if I do any mistakes, my mentors will point out not only the mistakes, but also the ways to correct that. By doing this frequently, I started to appreciate and express my point of view in the society without fear. Now, I'm a long jump national level athlete. I got A grade in State School Arts Festival, and I'm a state camp participant of Little Kites, an initiative of Kerala Infrastructure and Technology for Education. So with this short span of time, the Vidyadhan had made a lot of changes in my life. And this scholarship is something which is a great relief for my family financially, especially during this COVID pandemic. And I'm excited to looking forward and waiting for the changes that Vidyadhan is going to bring to my life in the future. And I would also love to say a huge thank you to Lakshmi ma'am for providing such a fabulous session for us, and to all who organized such a session for us. And now, ma'am, I would also love to believe that it is not the nature who makes us, it is us who makes the nature. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Sri Lakshmi.
Sri Lakshmi, you are such a star. I can't believe that you achieved all this in 2 years.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Very well. We can say she is a jack of all trades as well as master of all trades. Now she is so helping me in running the Vidyadhan programs in the social media and the computer sector. So many. She has learned a lot in video editing, animation, everything. In addition to whatever she has achieved earlier, athlete, arts, Bharatanatyam, dancer, everywhere. A very apt selection or a very correct selection for Vidyadhan.
Thank you so much, sir.
Next, we have Deepika, Vidyadhan alumni. Deepika is from Karnataka. Deepika, could you please switch on your video and unmute yourself.
Sure, ma'am. Yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are. But could you please switch on your video?
Oh, just a minute. I'm not able to switch on the video. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. I'm not sure why I'm not able to switch on the video now.
It's okay. Go ahead, Deepika. You can talk.
Yes. Yeah, I'm audible now. Hey, hi. Yes, hope you're able to see me now. First,
Yes.
I'm very happy to see you all, like Meera ma'am, Kumari ma'am, Shruti ma'am. It's been so long since I've been in this Vidyatan family. It's been 6 years now. I can't even imagine. It's been so long. I'm sorry if I'm going so fast. I'm really excited. I'm so happy to see you all again. Yeah. Thank you for this opportunity, Aishwarya. Yeah. Okay, everyone. So most of the people doesn't know me. I'm Deepika DG from Karnataka. Yeah, I've been in this Vidyadhan family from past 6 years, maybe. Yeah, it's been 6 years already. I have completed my BE in Electronics and Communications, and I'm currently working in Robert Bosch Engineering Solutions. Yes, when it comes to Vidyadhan, I can say if Vidyadhan wouldn't be there for me, I wouldn't be here in front of you all talking all this. What have I done so far? Because they should be like, you could be enough confident enough to reach anywhere in the life, but there should be someone who should push yourself to achieve something or to make something. There should be someone who should say like, you can do this thing, go it, we are there for you. There should be someone who should be always in behind your back. Yeah, as even I was brought up by lone mother. I was a single parented, and yeah, I was very shy and a negative negative mind people in the past when I go to past 6 years past. So what this Vidyadhan done to me is really great. Not only financially, of course, financially is the main thing, because I cannot afford to continue my education when I scored 95 plus in my PUC. I was almost to stop my education further because of the financial issues we had with the family. But yes, and I got this about Vidyadhan. It of course pushed me financially, but rather than that, what I could say is like, not only financially, Vidyadhan will treat you as their own child. They'll track you every academic. They'll track what is your score. If your score has gone low, is there anything that is bothering to go get a good score? What are you suffering with? Are you not confident enough? Are you not confident enough to go to your teachers? What is that bothering you? They'll take a very, like, just like their parents, they took very good care of us. And I don't know whether it is happening even now or not, but when I joined Vidyadhan, there was a program for personality development also. I could see a lot of people with lot of different personalities there. There were people, I was the one of the people, when I got into the stage, I was like literally shivering and all. I was that kind of person then. But the amount of confidence Vidyadhan have brought in me, and the amount of push they have given me to reach here is like, it's just unexplainable, ma'am. Like, if this wouldn't be there, I wouldn't be in this position now. Yeah. And also, if I have to see, like, see, you have brought some sort of inspiration in us. See, if no one would have helped me, I would have been the thought that anyway no one would have helped me. Why should I have to help others? This thought would have come in my mind. But now you have inspired me in such a huge case. Like, I always think of, anyway, I have got more from the society. I have got help by many people around the world. I should do something for the people who couldn't have a settled life for them. I have to do something for them. It has always been a thought for me. Like, yeah, this is what apart from financially, personally, technically, and you took a good care of your children, just like our parents do, ma'am. I'm really hats off to the Vidyadhan platform, and I'm really proud to be the family member of this Vidyadhan. Yeah.
Thank you, Deepika. Every time you talk, we get excited again and again. It is so nice to see you
Yes,
now
ma'am.
as an established.
And I'm really very happy to see you all. You have no idea how excited I'm feeling right now. It's been already like 2 years. I came to one, maybe I came on 2018 launch of student program. Yeah, that was the last time when we met. Yeah.
Deepika, I think you have some of the most infectious energy of anyone I've ever met, because I remember you
you.
clearly from that event.
Yes,
And
yes,
I always remember your energy and your spark. So please keep it up.
sure,
I'm
ma'am.
sure
Sure.
you'll
That
do
is the
very
only
well.
positive thing I had throughout my life. Yeah, I'll keep
No,
keep it up.
You'll do great.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, Dviti, well done. The realization that society has done to you, and you have to give it back. That's
Yes.
what Vidyadhan or ST Foundation also tells all the Vidyadhan scholars.
Yes, sir, sure. Like what I feel is like not everything you do should be recognizable. There are some things which you could do without recognition also. Like making some helping someone financially is not the only thing that you can do with the society. Like
Yes.
getting some people around your neighbors, trying to educate them, or trying to give any other educations like dancing, singing, any other things is also a part of social help is what I feel. And in this pandemic there are a lot of things what we can do, like instead of spending some things on unwanted things, we can spend that little things to someone who can get their basic needs. As Lakshmi ma'am was saying, there are many homeless people who need our help, right? So yeah, we have to mention, we also like as a leadership, I took some of my friends along with my family members, and we have started some little foundation called Unnati, where we would go to some government schools, because the government schools in and around my area is not that the even the faculty over there is not that sufficient to complete their portions or give enough educations, because the people here lack English like English education, and also Hindi is not proper here. So even I'm not that good at English, but we'll pick people who is very good at English around my friend circle, and we'll go them to teach there. There are a lot of things, there are a lot of improvements that were happening in the government schools around me also, and I feel very proud of that. And when they called all of us on stage, and when I about to speak, when they asked like what made you to think of doing this, the only point that I had in my mind is like SDF. Yeah, like SDF made me so confident, and they have put this thought that I should do something to the society. Yeah, I feel very proud of that. That moment was like, yeah.
Exactly. Giving financial help is not only the way to give it back to society. That's what normally Kumari Madam used to tell all the scholars. You can help in different ways, not just financially. So
Yes,
again, that realization you have, very good. Congrats.
thank you.
And
Thank you, sir.
as Sudhi Shibla told, you are full of energy.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I just told you one sentence and you have spoken for 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
We appreciate that quality also. Good.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the great opportunity being a part of this. Yeah.
Yeah, some of the students used to tell me that, so they wanted to be like me when they grow up. So I used to tell them that, so you don't have to grow up as big as me to do things. So you can help others by reading a book and helping the homework and all those things. So you are already doing that. I'm really happy about you, Deepika.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. This meant a lot to me. Yeah.
Thank you, Deepika. Next, we have Rameshwar from Maharashtra. Rameshwar, could you please switch on your video and unmute yourself? Please introduce yourself and share about your own organization and other social work activities which you have done so far. Rameshwar, hope you are there.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening to all. I am Rameshwar. I graduated from Ferguson College, Pune last year in BA Economics. So I was told to talk about the social things, social works I have done and social activities I have done. So I actually work in 4 organizations since I started my graduation. The first one was NAS. NAS used to work for the slum students. It used to conduct some lectures teaching them. I worked there for like 1 year as a tutor. They had a 2 sessions in weekends, like Saturday and Sunday. I worked there for 1 year. Then the second one was Samajban. Well, in rural area, menstruation cycle is a very problematic. I mean, the enough awareness is not there. So Samajban is spreading awareness on the menstruation cycle. What it does is it conducts some lectures and distributes sanitary pads to the rural girls and women. So I worked there as a workshop assistant and in other activities as well. The third organization I worked in was Gyan Prabodhani. Gyan Prabodhani is Pune-based organization. It had a program named Gyan Setu, through which it used to send Maharashtrian students to northeastern part of India and the states like Jharkhand and that all. Then what we did was we conducted some workshop. The workshop was like for 2 to 3 hours. In that workshop, we focused on the scientific development, some experiment. I mean, there is a reason behind everything, and we used to explain that thing to Assamese students. We went to Assam 2 years, like when I was in first year in 2017 and 2018. I went there for 2 years. And that the fourth organization is our own organization. I would like to talk more about that. The organization is called Maitri Seva Sangh. We started as a group. I mean, Maitri Seva Sangh is a organization which helping to the blind students. We started as a group initiating for the providing writers to blind students. It is, Pune is a hub of education in Maharashtra. So there are a lot blind students here. But the problem is they don't get writers to write their exams. So 8 to 10 students like all of my age started a group. 10 students in a day. We used to write 2 to 3 papers for students in summer exam. Then Diwali exam came and we thought we could expand our activities. So we asked people if they can work with us. We asked them on social media if they want to tie with us or they would like to help. And we got very enormous help from them. Like many people who are retired from job told us that we are interested in you, we are interested in your activity. Then we expand our work. Like we have now a database of 500 people's contact who could help us arranging the writers. The other thing we did with Maitri Seva Sangh is very different that no organization would do. Is we arranged a tour for them. I mean, as blind people, we think that their need is only limited to the educational things and that all. But we thought about recreation and traveling as well. So we arranged a tour. We asked people to help us with funds. We asked them to raise the funds, and we got like 1,50,000 rupees fund, and we arranged tour to North India, especially Agra, Delhi, and Shimla. And later we expand our activities like we help them recording books and providing writers, and as well as we arrange some competition like essay competition, singing competition, and dancing competition.
Thank you, Rameshwar, for that wonderful. I think we have lost him. Can we move to the next student, Aishwarya?
Yes, ma'am. Next we have Angel. Angel, could you please switch on your video?
Final student in the...
Yes, yeah. We are moving to the last student showcase. Like, Angel, could you please share about yourself and also about your future career goals?
Okay, am I visible? Am I audible clearly?
Yes.
Okay, good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I am Angel Robi. I have completed my post-graduation from University of Kerala in physics. So as the next step in my career, I am planning for study in Scotland, UK for MBA Leadership Practice Program. I have already got admission there. Now I am in its further processes. I am an active member of Karmasena since 2014. Karmasena is a task force of Vidyadhan scholars which assist our trustee Professor Raman sir in Vidyadhan related activities. For me, Vidyadan is not just a group of people, but my family. Vidyadan family gave me a lot of unforgettable memories in my life. Now, I would like to share one of the beautiful memories about Vidyadan with you. After my 10th standard, I became a member of Vidyadan Scholarship Foundation, and then there was a 3-day Vidyadan program. At that meeting, Ramandu sir said that everyone should come and speak something in English. Then I got really shocked and nervous because I studied in Malayalam medium, so I didn't know how to speak in English at all. I thought about to just run and escape from there, but the students present there supported and encouraged me very well. So for the first time in my lifetime, I spoke in English. I didn't even understand what I was talking about, but all the Vidyadan members who were there did not laugh at me. They didn't mock me at all. Their appearance seemed like they were listening to some important speech in English. What I spoke was totally wrong, but none of them laughed at me. Every time I made a mistake, they corrected me, they supported me. After my speech, they appreciated me with loud claps. At that moment, I realized the fact that there are still people who understand the limitations of others and behave accordingly. Actually, I was really active in comparing Malayalam language in different programs. But after that experience, I get really confident in my life to speak in English. I started to do my anchoring in English. Now I am planning to go to study in an English speaking country. And now I am doing wedding anchoring and stage programs in a famous hotels like Crown Plaza, Le Meridian. I used to work as radio jockey, and also now I am a YouTuber with more than 1 lakh subscribers within few months. So this Vidyadan family, they supported me when I was nothing. If they had made fun of me when I spoke in English, then I would not have been here. So this is the reason why Vidyadan is not just a group of people, but my family, as I mentioned earlier. I would like to thank Shivula sir, Kumari ma'am, Raman san, and each and every person who is part of this family. Thank you all. And it's our honor to host Miss Lakshmi Menon, who is really inspiration to each and everyone among us. She had reached heights in her career as well as in her life through her sheer hard work and efforts. Your words have infused a new spirit and confidence in us, and we are very thankful for that, ma'am. It feels immense pleasure to be part of this program and host you on behalf of everyone present. I wish you all prosperity and success for your future endeavors, ma'am. So, as I mentioned earlier, now I am preparing for study in UK, so I need your prayers and blessings with me. So that's all. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Angel.
So congratulations, Angel.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Very glad to hear from you, and all the best.
Thank you, ma'am.
Story.
Best wishes, Angel.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations and all the best, Angel. I think you are the first from Vidyadan family to go for an MBA program abroad. So that says something.
Thank you.
And to know that you have already become a celebrity in social media.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
That also may be the first Vidyadan scholar to reach that area also. Okay, well done.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thus, we came to an end of our student showcase. I request you all unmute yourself and give a round applause to all our students. We have a special surprise for Lakshmi ma'am. Vidyadan family would like to present hope my screen is visible.
Oh, beautiful. Wow.
These are lovely drawings from a talented V-Charcha from Andhra Pradesh and Tejaswini from Karnataka.
Thank you
Let's
so
also
much.
give
So
a round
personal.
applause to V-Charcha and Tejaswini.
Thank you so much, V-Charcha. Beautiful.
We also request you to accept this virtual picture. It's from our Vidyadan family.
Thank you so much. So thoughtful. So sweet.
Our next speaker needs no introduction. One of first graduate from our village. Meet the women who uplifted thousands of lives through various programs under Shipulal Family Philanthropic Initiatives. I would like to invite Kumari Shipulal, founder and managing trustee of SDF, to give us the closing remarks. Ma'am, please.
Good evening, everyone. I'm really glad to be here today. First of all, I would like to thank Ms. Lakshmi Menon for participating in this V-Charcha. And I'm sure our students will benefit from your informative talk and interaction with you. And it was such an inspiring idea that you have. I think some of our students must have got more ideas from you. And thank you so much, Lakshmi. Students, as always, you are really wonderful. I have met some of you during the interviews, and you all must be working very hard on this new kind of learning environment, like everyone in the whole world. Just imagine what all has changed in the last 2 years. We never thought of this kind of a learning environment. When we think more about it, we humans are amazing. Any kind of situation, we adapt quickly. Even some of us struggling to cope up with learning new techniques and adapt it. Look at me. So I used to know only to send emails and, using the WhatsApp and all that. Now, I don't know, all my meetings are in WhatsApp, in Google and Zoom and all those things. So it is, I really amazed by myself. So doing all these things at this age. And like always, my request to you are work very hard, focus on reaching your destination, take advantage of all good opportunities in your studies, in your jobs, learning new things, etc. Today is a good example. Today we got the opportunity to listening to Ms. Lakshmi. I'm sure you must have got a lot of ideas from her. So please use all those. Always remind yourself about your responsibilities towards your family, towards your community, and towards your country. And show empathy towards the less privileged. We live in a society where we take a lot of things for granted. For example, our education, healthcare, infrastructure, and all those things. Many of you must have studied in government schools or aided schools. Have you ever thought how the schools are giving you affordable education? And have you ever thought how the school property is maintained and the staff is paid? Our society pays for many things we take for granted. Our schools, roads, water, power, colleges, bridges. That means we pay for it. Please respect all our properties and protect them. We take a lot from our society. Always remember, we have a responsibility to give it back to our society. Please keep that in mind. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thus, we came to an end of our session. Thank you everyone for attending the session. I would like to request Lakshmi ma'am and our trustees to join the breakout rooms. Special thanks to the students who participated actively in the event. Thank you all.
Thank you, Aishwarya, for bringing Lakshmi Menon to this V-Charcha. Thank you for that initiative.
Aishwarya, you can tell the students to leave the meeting, I think.
Yeah, the students can now leave the session.
Something fell on my eyes. I'll just be back, okay?
Okay, okay.
I've been trying to scratch it for a while. Sorry.
Amma, was it miso or mochi?
Just miso.
Can everyone hear the cat?
Mochi. Yeah,
That was
miso
Amma's
and
miso.
mochi stays in my room now. They are giving me company. I'm in quarantine.